The U.S. government does not endorse products or manufacturers. Trademarks or manufacturers' names appear in this document only because they are considered essential to the objective of this document. This material is based on work supported by the Federal Highway Administration under Agreement Number 693JJ3175-0001. Any opinions, findings, and conclusions or recommendations expressed in this video are those of the authors and do not necessarily reflect the view of the Federal Highway Administration. ARTBA expresses gratitude for the employees at Prince William County Fire and Rescue and the Lane Construction Company for providing personnel who have consented to appear in this video. The appearance of these individuals, logos, or other representations of their organizations should not be construed as an endorsement or promotion by ARTBA, the Federal Highway Administration, or the U.S. government.
Climbing a cliff face requires strength, dedication, balance, and focus. Every tiny hold matters. Each minute movement of a foot or finger can spell the difference between life and death. If you've ever worked on a bridge, platform, or any other elevated area in a roadway work zone, this probably sounds familiar to you. There are many dangers when you work at height. Falls are one of the greatest sources of injuries and fatalities in work zones. In fact, most falls from height are fatal. You can significantly mitigate this danger with a thorough knowledge of fall rescue and suspension trauma prevention methods. Today, we'll demonstrate how to develop a plan to rescue and treat workers when an incident occurs, as well as how to protect the work zone, other workers, and the general public. At the end of this video, you'll be able to create an effective fall rescue plan, explain how to prevent or minimize trauma caused by suspension, demonstrate how to provide emergency medical treatment, Here is a rock climber in a controlled environment. Notice the protective gear he has on for this recreational activity. He's wearing a helmet, special shoes, and a harness. A recreational harness is similar in principle to an industrial fall protection system, but not subject to OSHA regulations. When the climber falls, and even the best climbers fall, there's a belayer right there, ready to lock down the safety rope and gently lower the climber to the ground. If you fall in a work zone, you don't have that luxury. While you are secured to multiple points and your equipment has been inspected to ensure it's in good working order, the moment that you fall, an important clock starts ticking. Once your fall has been arrested and you have stopped moving, in most cases safely due to the energy absorption in the fall protection equipment, you are still left suspended. During this critical moment, the most subtle and sinister hazard begins to set in: suspension trauma. During this time, the leg straps of the fall protection harness begin to put pressure on your femoral arteries, slowly restricting and possibly cutting off blood circulation. Then, when your leg muscles are relaxed, the veins in your legs dilate, expanding dramatically. Because your leg muscles are not contracting, blood pools in your legs and feet rather than returning to your heart and lungs to recirculate fresh oxygen to your body. Up to 20% blood circulation loss occurs. Loss of circulation causes lactic acid to build up, which is released when you're rescued. When the lactic acid floods the body, it can damage your kidneys and liver and even cause heart failure. You may be working on a tall bridge or only 10 feet above a culvert. The height of the fall is irrelevant, and your chances of surviving are low if there isn't a plan in place to rescue you, and if you and your coworkers aren't properly trained to follow it. Anytime you're working at a height that requires fall protection, your company needs to have a fall rescue plan. Calling 911 is not a rescue plan. Training, equipment, site-specific information, and preparedness make up a proper plan. Everyone on the job site should know this plan and have practiced it thoroughly. The rescue plan needs to include the following: training for the entire team that includes site-specific information. In addition, coordinate with any first response personnel, police, EMS, fire, and rescue that would be required to respond to an incident in advance of the work. This means alerting the county or municipality to the potential hazards on the job site, such as falls, ensuring that fire and EMS are trained in fall protection, have the proper recovery equipment, and know the fastest response routes to the job site. Alert first responders to where to enter the job site and how to safely navigate the internal traffic control plan. Never assume that your local fire and rescue department has proper training for fall protection and recovery. Contact them to be sure. The time it takes for first responders to arrive. If they know where you are working, they can be more alert to potential incidents. Equipment in place to communicate with the fallen worker. Cell phones and radios can fail, so all workers should have a loud whistle permanently attached to their safety vest to alert coworkers of trouble, as well as an agreed-upon set of hand signals. Proper rescue equipment on hand. This could include a pulley system to bring the worker back up, a winch system, ladders, self-rescue equipment, elevated work platforms, cherry picker-style bucket cranes, or man lifts. Ensure prior to the job that the rescue equipment is adequate for the situation and in proper working order. Adequate personnel on site and in easy response distance who are sufficiently trained in fall and rescue techniques. Access to employee training and medical records for each person involved with the worksite. A means of securing the worksite for investigations and protecting the public. Now let's put everything we've learned into practice. We have filmed this scenario with trained professionals in a controlled environment. The worker trips and falls. After the fall, the worker blows his whistle to alert his coworkers, who rush to action. One worker immediately begins to time the duration of the rescue so that adequate first aid can be administered. Another contacts EMS rescue, while another contacts their supervisor. Another worker attempts to communicate with the person who fell. When calling EMS rescue, 4 items need to be communicated. 1. Site location. 2. Directions to the site and access instructions. 3. Which mile marker, which side, and what the height is. 4. Worker condition after the fall. The fallen worker has already retracted his safety straps and is standing up out of the harness. That's good. His circulatory system is already taking temporary damage, but he is remaining calm because there is an efficient and effective plan in place. While waiting for the EMS rescue, other workers have cleared the area of debris and equipment that could block rescue equipment access. They've also ensured that there are no unauthorized personnel on the site to protect the public from any potential injury. To preserve the scene for incident investigation after the rescue, workers on site set up barriers to isolate the area. Wreckage or debris, unless directly blocking access, is left in place. Once the fallen worker is rescued, the clock stops. The worker who was timing the incident informs rescue personnel of the duration the victim was suspended, as this will assist them in providing proper first aid and stabilization. Rescue workers will perform standard trauma resuscitation and then evaluate the need for hospitalization or additional care. In this case, a well-developed fall rescue plan prevented permanent injury, and this worker will be okay after additional tests and rest. If you need to stabilize a victim of suspension trauma, keep them calm. Have them immediately sit with their legs bent in the W position and make sure they are comfortable and warm. They need to be in a prone position to maximize the ability for clean, oxygenated blood to flow and restore their system. Regardless of who provides the care, the victim should always have immediate medical follow-up evaluations to check for heart and kidney damage. Protecting workers, first responders, and the public during an incident is our top priority. While a worker is waiting on the first responders, it is key there are no additional incidents for them to respond to on the worksite, and they arrive safely to the scene. Once first responders arrive, be sure to close off the area to additional workers, members of the public or media, and spectators. Orange cones, barrels, or tape may be used as a barrier to ensure no vehicles or pedestrians enter the response area. While there will certainly be post-incident communications, the safety of the workers and first responders is top priority. Finally, there will be an investigation after the incident. Be honest and forthright when assisting the investigators. Just report what you saw and heard using I statements so as not to assign intent or give an opinion. A few final notes on rescue procedures. If a rescue cannot be performed immediately, a fallen worker should be trained to pump their legs frequently to activate the muscles and reduce blood pooling. Continue monitoring and speaking with the worker. Look for signs of dizziness, fatigue, or panic. If the worker is unconscious, as soon as they're rescued, check to ensure their air passages are open and that they are breathing freely. By following the guidelines in this training video, developing a fall rescue plan, understanding how to manage a fall if it happens, and knowing what to do afterwards, you are providing your workers with valuable tools to protect themselves and others on the job site. Hopefully, you'll never experience a fall from height on your work site. But if you do, this training will significantly aid in protecting workers and get them home safely at the end of the day. Together, we can stop accidents in work zones. ARTBA has a number of resources available to prevent and mitigate against fall injuries, including a fall rescue plan. These and other resources, materials, and training are available at www.workzonesafety.org.
This material is based on work supported by the Federal Highway Administration under Agreement Number 693JJ3175-0001. Any opinions, findings, and conclusions or recommendations expressed in this video are those of the authors and do not necessarily reflect the view of the Federal Highway Administration.